know from Trump that what they really want to do is make sure that they target all of the criminals who are inside our country, which is an extraordinarily large number, posing a danger to people in the United States. Get those criminals out.
And that's Texas Governor Greg Abbott with me on Mornings with Maria on Fox Business this week on his plans to work with the Trump administration to deport illegal criminals while securing the southern border after more than 10 million people illegally entered the country on President Biden's watch, including millions of gotaways and at least 350 individuals who are currently on the U.S. terrorist watch list. Fox News' Bill Malugin reporting that there are currently 1.4 million who have already been ordered to be deported by federal immigration judges, with 13,000 of them in ICE custody for rape and murder charges. Meanwhile, in Mexico, a caravan of at least 1,500 migrants is on the way to the U.S. border right now, hoping to illegally get in before President-elect Trump takes office on January 20th at noon Eastern Time. Joining me now with more is Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, Maria. Good to be with you.
How soon do you think President Trump can have his nominees in place so that his team is ready to go January 20th?
Oh, look, I don't want to speak for the Senate's calendar, but there's no reason all this should not be done by the end of February, early March. The president has a political mandate. He overwhelmingly won this election. He swept the battleground states. He shifted every state in the country, except for Washington, more to the right. He has a mandate. Republican senators know this. I know Senator Thune, as well as all of my colleagues across the aisle, are well aware. And if you look at these cabinet choices, they have one mission in mind, and that is to enact the agenda of Donald J. Trump that the American people voted for overwhelmingly.
Yeah. What are these Democrat governors missing? You know, you hear the governor of Illinois, the governor of New York, the governor of New Jersey coming out saying, we're not going to help President Trump deport anybody. Don't come for my people. Are they unaware that those people actually voted for Trump's agenda?
Listen, Democrat politicians have had a Marie Antoinette view of America for quite some time, and they have not been concerned about the plight of the American people. Donald Trump has been concerned. That's why his mandate is overwhelming. And if they decide that they're going to oppose deportations that 57% of the American people want to see enacted, then they're going to have more political losses in the future. But that is because the Democrat Party has wanted open borders and mass illegal immigration for decades. They had it under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It has been soundly rejected. So President Trump and his team are going to deport illegal immigrants out of the United States. That is the right thing to do. That's what the American people want to see happen. And if they stand in the way of this, they're going to have to reap more losses in the future politically, because the American people have had enough. They want real change, and Donald Trump is going to bring it.
How difficult will it be to deport all of those people? Congressman, you know, I mean, the low end is 10 million. It could be 16 million, 20 million people who have come into this country on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's watch. How do you round all those people up? I mean, are you thinking about military going in there and getting these people out? How will this be done?
Well, then first you start with criminal illegal aliens. They're easy to identify. Working with law enforcement agencies all across the country, Tom Homan and his team, along with Secretary Noem and the Department of Homeland Security, will be able to get those people out of our country very, very quickly. Then you have to move to people who already have deportation orders that have been given to them, but they simply have not left. You move to that group of people to a secondary level. Again, dealing with ICE, local law enforcement. In my district in Southwest Florida, our local sheriffs are more than prepared to use the 287G program to help remove people from the United States. That's how you do it. I think the hyperbole of using the military, we're nowhere close to that. Probably won't even need to do that, because the truth is, once you start deportation proceedings, illegal immigrants understand as well. They don't want to be caught in our country and have to be deported by ICE, because if you are, then you're barred from returning to the United States for a decade. So I think you're going to see a lot of self-deportation once this process begins.
What else are your priorities in the 119th Congress?
Right now, my priority is making sure that Donald Trump's economic and energy agenda gets across the line on Capitol Hill. His mandate, Maria, I know I've said it several times, but it is a wide political victory for Donald Trump. So if you want to talk about prices at the pump or prices in a grocery store, getting his energy agenda accomplished through Washington is going to be critically important. Extending his tax cut policies are going to be critically important. The deregulation, which is mostly going to come out of the White House, not so much out of Congress, that's going to be very, very important. And then government efficiency. I know my colleague from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene, will be on later on your show. The ability to actually have our government be more efficient so we can save dollars and save resources and making sure we're efficient with the dollars for the American people, that's going to be critical as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're going to talk with Marjorie Taylor Greene about that coming up. But what's your take in terms of some of the cuts that they're talking about, taking $2 trillion out of the budget? How does that hit with Congress's role? I mean, will they be able to cut out waste that, in fact, was already legislated and written into law and agreed upon by Congress?
Well, I think the key thing is that Congress might appropriate or authorize programs, but Congress never authorizes the waste. A lot of this stuff is because, quite frankly, there's no checking about how these things go on. We have many programs that are on the honor system, Maria. There are no deep checks into making sure that the dollars that have been appropriated are actually going to the people who qualify. That's a big one. You can look into waste in Medicaid. There's a big one there, and so there's definite places where you can go through and find these ways to make it more efficient, to find the necessary cuts. Some of it is going to have to go through Capitol Hill. Like Senator Johnson just said, we're now $36 trillion in debt. We have a responsibility to the future of our country to make sure that our government begins to live within its means again. And let's be clear. We just raised $4.5 trillion in taxes. So it's not a revenue problem. I'm quite sure nobody was complaining about government spending under Barack Obama's $4 trillion budgets. But the budget is now $6.3 trillion. That's obscene. We have to get to pre-COVID spending levels. It makes no sense to spend the kind of money we are spending, especially when the American people are still suffering. We need to cut that back, have a growing economy, a thriving economy. That will be mission accomplished for Donald J. Trump and for congressional Republicans. All
right, we'll be watching all of that and watching your work, sir. Thanks very much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.